One and all. Today I want to discuss a topic known as transportation problem. In this topic, I want to discuss some important concepts like what is transportation problem and what is the need for transportation problem, what is the main objective of transportation problem, and some more concepts related to transportation problem. So coming to the theme and objective of transportation problem, uh, we have to transport some products or some quantities from different origins to different destinations in order to minimize the total transportation cost. So the main objective of our transportation problem is to minimize the cost. In order to minimize the cost, there are many ways. So to minimizing the cost, we are transporting various commodities or quantities from origin to destinations. So in the below given introduction, there are many quantities available at originations. So we have to transport them into destinations. So in the transportation matrix, we are clearly uh, seeing originations, origins O1, O2, and so on, OM, and also destinations D1, D2, and so on, DN. So here C11 is the cost to which we have transport quantity from origin 1 to destination 1. And X11 is the amount of quantity we are transporting from origin 1 to destination 1. So likewise, Xij denotes the quantity from origin to destination, and C11, Cij denoting the cost that is affordable to transport the quantity from origin to destination. And there are two types of transportation problems, balanced and unbalanced transportation problem. When we have to say the given problem is balanced, if the total sum of availabilities at origin is equal to the sum of requirement values at destinations, then their totals are equal, then the problem is said to be balanced transportation problem. So symbolically, it is denoted as summation I equal to 1 by m ai equal to summation j equal to 1 by m bj. If the total sum of availability is not equal to the sum of requirements, then we say it is unbalanced transportation problem. So to find initial basic solution for a given transportation problem, there are many methods. Some of them are not just corner rule, row minimum method, column minimum method, matrix minimum method, Vogel's approximation method. So by using any one of the above methods, we can find initial basic feasible solution to the given transportation problem. So coming to northwest corner rule and matrix minima and Vogel's approximation method, these three are most commonly used methods for finding initial basic feasible solution. Out of those, all the five methods, Vogel's approximation method gives less transportation cost for the quantities to be transported from various origin to destinations. So we can use all the five above methods for finding initial basic feasible solution. To find optimal basic feasible solution, we use Modi method. So, and there is another concept called degeneracy. When this concept arises in transportation problem means if there are less than n plus n minus 1 basic cells in the given transportation problem, then we say the degeneracy case arise. So To resolve degeneracy, we had to introduce a very small positive quantity called epsilon in the non-basic cell having least cost. So degeneracy arises when there are less than m plus n minus 1 basic cells in a given transportation table. M stands for number of rows, N stands for number of columns. So to resolve degeneracy, there is a technique, that is to introduce a very small positive quantity known as epsilon. Approximately epsilon value is equal to 0, and we introduce epsilon in the non-basic cell having least cost. So here the definition is given as follows for the degeneracy. The number of basic cells must be n plus n minus 1 for matrix order m by n. If there are number of basic cells less than m plus n minus 1, then the solution is degenerate. The problem of degeneracy may occur at any stage of solving transportation problems. That is, a degeneracy may occur at any iteration or it may occur in subsequent iterations. So how we can solve this degeneracy? Procedure for solving degeneracy. So to resolve a degeneracy at the initial solution, we allocate a very small positive quantity epsilon to one or more unoccupied, that is nothing but non-basic cells, to get exactly m plus n minus 1 basic cells. It is better to allocate epsilon to unoccupied cells or non-basic cells, also known as unoccupied cells, also known as non-basic cells, having lowest transportation cost. Whereas in some cases, epsilon must be added to non-basic cells or unoccupied cells may not have the minimum transportation cost, which make possible to determine. Means to resolve degeneracy, there are two ways. One is to introduce epsilon, a very small quantity in the non-basic cell having least cost, or sometimes we have to introduce epsilon, may not be in the transportation table having least cost, but in order to provide the values for UI and VG. So to obtain initial base feasible solution, northwest, row minima, column minima, matrix minima, and ovals are some of the important ways to find optimum basic feasible solution. A method called modified distribution method, or it is also known as UB method, is introduced. So in Modi method, briefly we call modified distribution method as Modi method. In Modi method, we find UI and VJ values. So it is also named as Modi method, also named as UV method. So in order to obtain the values of UI and VJ, we keep a position of epsilon, not only in the transportation table having least cost, but also in the cell in order to find easily the values of UI and VG. So main objective of transportation is we have to transport various quantities of commodities from various origins to various destinations in order to minimize the transportation cost. So to find the basic feasible solutions, there are various ways, and Vogel approximation method is the best method for finding initial basic feasible solution. In such a way, in that method, we can maximum minimize, in that method, we can maximum minimize the cost of transportation. So, degeneracy occurs at any stage of iteration, and if for some of availability value is not equal to requirement total, then the given transportation is an unbalanced transportation problem. So these are some of the key and basic concepts of transportation table. So we discuss many more as early as possible. So as we observe in this, it is the transportation table in which availability values and requirement values, various origin destinations are shown. And the C11, C12 is the cost, transport quantities or commodities from origin to various destinations. And X11, X12, Xij, and so on are the amount of quantity we are transporting from origin 1 to destination 1. This is briefly about the concept of transportation problem. So, this is the end of my lecture. Video soon with some other most important concepts in the chapter transportation problem. Thank you very much.